Hello everyone, welcome you all to the India in Making podcast series. Today with a special series of College Zeros to Career Heroes. Today I have a guest here who is the CEO and founder of CodeCraft Technologies. Welcome you to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, so can you actually speak to our audience about your story, your success journey, and how did you start at CodeCraft?
So CodeCraft started 6.5 years back, right? So what I feel, companies start for three reasons. One is inheritance, where your parents have created something and you take over the business. Second is you join job, and probably you are not happy with the job, or you are not happy with the boss, right? And you end up starting another company. And the third is like you feel for it, right? You think probably I am made for something more, right? So these are the three reasons what I see, right? And in my case, what happened, I always knew that I want to start something on my own, and I was the first batch to be recruited when companies came for campus recruitment. Till then, I wasn't like really sure what I wanted to do. I joined my first job, loved it. Did it for 3.5 years, and then kind of realized it's time to move on. I stepped out, I evaluated my dad's business, but figured out I should just be doing what I'm good at, right? And that's how CodeCraft started. And I started taking up real small work, invited, then I called for my friend to join us. Even he was doing extremely well in his career during that time, and he also took a decision that we'll try it, right? And that's how it happened, okay, right? 6.5 years back. Started at home. Today we have 2 offices in Mangaluru and in Bangalore.
Wow, fantastic. So can you also share with us about how were your initial journey of starting? So how was your first year of starting CodeCraft? Okay. So what are all the challenges you went through? How did you overcome?
Sure. So I feel challenges never die. It only changes, right? At every stage we have different kind of challenges, right? When we started, firstly we didn't know what to write, so we only knew how to code. We didn't know anything else, and we didn't even know how to get business. What I did when I quit, I knew for sure I code, and I approached few friends, got a real small work. I took that work up, we executed that work. Actually that project didn't even complete. Our client, whoever we were working for, probably his priorities changed. We actually didn't complete. Then we got another work, we executed that. That time the challenges were, one is like we didn't understand what is like a private limited company, which we are today. We didn't understand what trademark is. We didn't know how to register a company. We didn't know what are the compliances we need to follow. All these came later on. We executed 1 or 2 work. Now we wanted to move to an office space. We looked for office spaces around here. That time finding an office space is also a challenge, because you for sure do not know whether you will have a steady revenue. And if you don't have an office space, I thought it is going to be very difficult to hire people, because we had like a small room. We started in our bedroom, so we were comfortable sitting there, but I don't think so people will walk into my bedroom and like start working, right? Yeah. So those are the different kind of challenges, but then those challenges were much bigger. Once we started the company, what we realized, we didn't register to labor department. I mean, purely because we didn't know, right? When the labor department guys actually walked into our office, we realized, okay, these are few compliances you need to have. Then probably we started, we figured out today that's the first thing we make sure, right? Whenever we do something, we make sure everything is taken care. We know whom to go to, we know what question to ask, right? So we had very good chartered accountants, but we never asked them questions then. Today we do that first, right? So these are the different things. These are the challenges. I would not say we had like major challenges in the first year. These are the only challenges, right? And after that, the challenges are like, how do we generate more business, which every business has even after they grow. So because like every year it is about how to grow further, right? From here, how do we grow to the next level, right? As we grow, challenges are now we have more people, right? So how do we handle people well? So you're dealing with a lot of emotions, so you have to be very careful. People have their personal issues, they have work issues, they have like something else. So when you deal with these things, it is a very different kind of problem. So I mean, you learn it. You really want to solve something, you will find a way.
So how were your support from your parents at that time when you initially started?
So yeah, my dad actually is a business person. He's done extremely well one point of time. He created from scratch and he built one of the largest transport companies. But when I wanted to start, he said, don't do it because you're doing very well in your career, right? So you don't know the problems that happen in business. So you're doing well, you continue doing that, and I think that is good for you, right? But I had already decided, right? I was doing well. I had already decided that I am done with whatever I did. I am starting a new chapter now. And I was okay taking that leap of faith, right? I was okay taking that risk because I knew I had the skills. I knew I can do something. Initially, there were challenges, convincing them. Right, but I think my mother was a little different. She knew for sure that I'm not going to do anything else. So she supported me. First, she supported me. She said, "What does it take for you to start?" And I said, "I just need a MacBook Pro and probably a iPod Touch that time, And she gifted me that actually. So my first investment is from her. And after that, in one of the sessions with my dad, when he was still trying to convince me, I just asked the same question. So you also started from somewhere, right? If you didn't start, probably we were not sitting here, right? Probably we would be somewhere else. So why not I start? Then he never questioned me after that, right? He definitely is a very good support system for me because we've been working very hard. There were times I have gone home after 2 days because we had so much work to finish. Everyone would say, "Why are you working so much? What is happening?" But when I sat with him, he said, "That's fine. Even we have worked like that. Even we have not slept for days, right?" So when you're very tired and everyone tells you like, why so much? You're not having food. You're not doing this. But when one person tells you, okay, that's okay, this is what you need to do, it feels amazing.
That's great. Fantastic. So when it comes to hiring team and surrounding yourself with the right kind of people for any company to grow is very important. So how do you see it here? And because when it comes to a team, so it's all coming from various institutions or some of them are coming from various experience in certain career. How do you actually take the team here? So what is the culture you will be?
Right. So team is the most important thing, right? There isn't anything which is more important than right people, right? The first thing what you need to understand is how do you share your vision with others? How well they understand. I mean, you might end up getting the best of people, right? But if everyone has a different vision, it takes you nowhere, right? People say like, you have this race horses, right? If all of them are running in different directions, all of them are excellent. They are the fastest 5 horses, right? But if all of them run in 5 different directions, you are doing no good, right? So Elon Musk actually explained this better. He says it's a vector, right? So it needs to have, magnitude and it needs to have a direction, right? So you need to have like one single direction, So you need to really share your vision with your team very well, and you need to see the kind of people that you're picking up, understand that, right? So once that is done, skills are absolutely. I mean, I'm not even talking about skills because without that, probably you would not even hire them, right?
Yeah.
But with skills, I think sharing your vision is the most important thing, right? And what we are placed slightly different from other companies. What we have done is not purely based on the years of experience you get a certain position, right? So we are placed differently. So in our company, we have these leadership teams, right? So my iOS has about like 5 people who lead the iOS team. Android has few more, like 5-6 people who lead the team. And all these guys have like varied experience. Somebody has 15 years experience, somebody has only like 3 years experience, right? What I realized is a person, right, might be really good at doing something. For example, that person is amazing when it comes to programming. If we keep promoting people based on the years of experience, what might happen is like as the team is growing, you might put this person in a spot where he has to or she has to do customer facing work. That person is very good at programming, but now that person is doing customer facing, talking to clients, managing team, and what you realize is that person may not be the best at that, right? And the only thing what you have done is you have put that person in the wrong spot today, right? And what you realize is things are not working out there, and then if you ask that person to come back and do what they were doing, that's a demotivation right there. So we didn't want that situation. So what we did is we did leadership team. We have like a 2 months leadership cycles, right? So every 2 months the leadership changes, right? So we have these 5 people managing like 25 member team, like iOS, Android. What happens is one of those 5 people actually defines vision. Like they literally get to own the team, right? They decide whom to hire, whom to, hopefully not fire, but, they decide like to that level, right? They define the vision. The vision has to align with what we are doing, CodeCraft. So they present what are the things they want to change or they want to refine. Once I think their strategy is good enough, then they go ahead and every 15 days they present it to me. Now it is once in a month because we have already completed 1 year. Now what we are doing is slightly different. And these kind of exercises take 1 month to finish. So earlier it was just 15 days, right? Every 15 days they present what they have actually planned for themselves. Now what I get to see here, how good this person is with strategy, right? How good this person is in identifying, issues. How well this guy can actually, or this girl, follow up on things, right? And you get to know the strategy, you get to know the planning, you get to know the execution, which is the most important. You can easily plan. You might tell, I want to do this and that, right? But executing that is the most important thing, right? And this is what we do. And even if you fail, you only have 2 months. That's fine. You have not created too much damage. And only one thing is the goal for this whole exercise is don't keep big goals, right? Keep small goals, which is achievable, right? Big goals are all fancy. Don't say, I want to change this world, I want to change the face of the company, because probably in 2 months you cannot do that, right? What you need to do is, you need to identify what are the things I can really make happen, right? And then you have to make sure it happens, right? Yeah. So that.
Yeah, fantastic. So when it comes to giving certain suggestions to the students of how they can actually develop themselves when they are in college, if they are watching, so how they can actually get certain inspiration, like whether it is getting into a job or starting their own startup. So what do you recommend them? What are all the habits they need to be inculcating? What they should be doing when they are in college?
Yeah. So the first thing I would want to say, don't stress yourself in starting a company all the time, right? Because that is not the end of the world, right? So, you really need to identify where you fit, right? Without people, there is no company.
Yes.
If you become a job giver, it is great. But, I have worked for 3.5 years and I enjoyed my job, right? So there is no good or bad about anything, right? You need to identify what you need to do. You need to identify what you can actually do. You need to identify, these are like the first few steps. You have enough time to do everything that you want in life, right? But you need to identify at this point of time, what is the best thing for me, right? So identify the right companies that you want to join or you want to start, or, the ideas you have, validate that. And then probably see, a lot of things comes from within, right? So I was like a very laid back student when probably I was studying. I remember how I was, right? But for me, the thing was my first job, I fell in technology, in a way that I never felt about technology before. And that was my thing, to stick on to that. Today I am still doing technology is purely because of that. I wanted to be something else. When I was in school, I wanted to be something else. Priorities keep changing. What you want always keeps changing. Right? What you need, probably you don't know. Right? So, you are always running after the wants. What I would suggest to students is like, go after every opportunity that you get. Don't validate whether that is a right opportunity or a wrong opportunity or thing. Just grab everything that you get, because for you might end up realizing that probably is the best thing that might happen to you, right? You don't know that right now, right? Take up every opportunity that you get, do it, once you do it, only then you realize whether that's your best thing or probably you can do something else. Don't be too choosy at the early stage. Just go after everything that you get, and you never know, you might end up realizing, you got into the best thing. Nature put you in the right place, right? So just go after everything that you have to put in a lot of hard work. Nothing comes easy in life, right? That is one thing all of us need to realize. I mean, for me also, after I started working, I realized that, but you will realize at some point.
And also you were talking about hard work and smart work. What is your take on that? So that if they can get about something about that. A lot of smart work thing is happening. So what do you talk about?
I feel today smart work or stress, I would say, is overstated. People talk about stress so much that, school kids talk about stress. People who don't even have like anything to do in life talk about stress. They are stressed not doing anything. So I think what we need to understand is stress. We are stressed today is purely because we are not capable of handling that particular situation at that particular point, right? Over time, we improve ourselves, right? We can handle things better, right? So that is it. You just put stress in that simple framework, right? You're stressed because you don't know how to handle that situation, right? So when you know how to handle that situation, probably you'll handle it much better. In terms of hard work and smart work, I again see a lot of people talking about smart work. Definitely smart work, all that is important, but there is no alternate to hard work, right? You have to work really, really, really hard, right, in life to achieve something. There is no alternate to that. That is something you need to really understand very, very clearly, right? Smart work is not mindless delegation, right? You cannot just like give people do this and that's not smart work at all. That is stupidity, right? So after when you're working really hard, once you develop that knack, you kind of know like how to prioritize things, right? You learn to prioritize things. Then probably you will find a right person to do something that is not in the top of your priority list. So that is smart work. So you identify things which is important, and you only have 24 hours in a day, and you really don't have 24 hours to you cannot complete these things in 24 hours. Probably then you start pushing less important work to somebody who is equally important to you, or who is capable of doing that thing, right? That is smart work. Right now, I think what all of us need to focus is on hard work. Right? We need to work really hard. We cannot just sleep on our bed and expect things to change. That will not happen.
Fantastic. So when it comes to the gap between the industry and institute, so what is your take on the current education system, and what do you think is missing, or what can be done something more to?
So one thing, I would not want to blame or compare education system to industry, because it is very hard to put something in a framework. For example, industry itself, right? Industry changes so fast, right? So today people are talking about blockchain. 2 years back people were talking about big data. Big data is even big today, right? But before that people said big data is not going anywhere, and before that there was something else and like that. If you go back, COBOL and things like that, which probably not many people are using. So in college you cannot what a college can do is you have like a syllabus, then probably you also follow the trends, right? And giving awareness is okay, right? But then what I would suggest, it's purely up to oneself to really go after, you have access to everything today, even Facebook, it is such a lovely news aggregator. So when you just keep liking your friend's photo, probably you would find TechCrunch or something else talking about what's happening. This company is doing well, this technology is there, something is happening in AI, something is happening in virtual reality, gaming people are adopting that, blockchain, blah, 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 so much information, right? So I think what college or students should do is probably don't ignore these information, right? May not be, it's not, at that point it may not be very relevant or may not be very important, but just be aware of what is happening. Because I think that's like the simplest thing you can do, right? Focus on your studies. So what is important is concepts more than languages, right? For example, if you're doing computer science engineering or whatever, mechanic, things might change, your auto parts might change, your programming languages would change. but concepts will always remain the same, right? So focus more on that. And when you get out of the industry, I am a C++ programmer, so I can only program in C++. I am a Java programmer, so I can only program in Java, right? Those things, I think if you stay away from it, it is always good, because things change. For example, iOS, we started programming in it in Objective-C. Today it is like Swift, right? Android, it was Java. Today it's Kotlin, right? Today there are new languages that is coming up. When it is like device support, we use different frameworks because the support there is better. You use Python, you go language or something else. For few things, Java is still like the best thing, right? It is all about what support you get when you're doing that kind of work, right? Today people are talking about moving everything on the cloud. You have AWS, Azure, everyone has their own cloud, right? So, and now people suddenly are talking about blockchain and things like that, right? So these trends keep changing, right? As long as your concepts are very good, you can always learn other things, right? So stick to your concept. Be wary of what's happening. Be aware of what's happening. I think that's what is important.
Yeah, fantastic. So you mean to say, like, when the trend is changing, it's very important you have that learning agility in you, so that you are ready to learn, but the concepts are very important to have in place.
Yeah, learning should never stop, right? Because what happens, when you're learning, your graph goes like that, right? And there are 10 other people also learning with you, right? The day you decide to stop, then your graph just stops there, but the other people are still learning, right? So you are like, you're actually coming down instead of going up, right? So learning can never stop. It's like the continuous process, right? But concept, be thorough with whatever you're doing. Like, even if it's the simplest thing, right? Be thorough with what you're doing, because that is what, when you enter into an industry, your confidence is purely based on your skills, and your skills is what will be respected.
That's fantastic.
Today we work with the best sports stadium in the world. We also created a data management platform for one of the NBA teams. We are working with the third largest cable company, working with the projects on the largest infrastructure company in New Zealand, and various other projects, right? One of the pet projects that we have today is called Savior, Savior. So why we did this is 2 years back, I had a discussion with one of the doctors, electrophysiologist from KMC. He's one of the very few in the country, where we realized that a lot of patients are being brought dead to the hospitals, and many of these can actually be saved, right? And why these were happening, this is happening is purely because response time of our ambulances today is very bad. Even when you consider 108, which is an amazing thing government has done, even that is not enough. The response times are not enough, right? And that's when we thought we should have, today you get taxis for like, in less than 2 minutes to, probably 5 minutes because of, aggregate. We thought we should start using technology, and we should put all these ambulances on technology and make sure they reach people faster. So we started Savior with 3 main objectives. One is to educate people, spread awareness why basic life-saving skills are important. These are really, really important courses, because even if you don't want to help random people outside, if something happens at home, if your parents or your friends have like chest pain, what do you have to do? The least you can do is save them till the ambulance arrives, right? So educating people is like been our most important task. So we've addressed around 850 students so far. The second objective is training, and building a first responder net. So, we did few research, and what we realized, even in advanced countries like US, where ambulances reach very fast, less than probably 8 minutes. In the remote side of or in the suburbs where the ambulance takes slightly longer, the reason why people, like more number of people were saved is because there were first responders, right? People who actually come to the site till the ambulance comes, they take care of the situation, they make sure they give CPR or whatever it takes, right? And what we wanted to do is we want to build a very chain of first responders or volunteers. So we are actually training many volunteers at absolutely no cost. And the third objective is the response time itself. Right, we have built this app called Savior where you can book an ambulance for absolutely no cost. It's free service during emergencies. You just have to click a button and we send you the nearest ambulances. What we have achieved, we have saved a life already. In Mangalore today, at any point or any place, any location, from this office you can get an ambulance in less than 5 minutes, like 4 minutes what it is showing right now. From other locations you will get in less than 10 minutes, right? This is what we have already done, right? Eventually what we are trying to do is, or our ultimate goal, we want to train like at least one person in every commercial building, schools, colleges, residential building, at least watchman. If the watchman and the mall manager is trained with CPR, choking and other things, if something happens there, at least these people can go to the situation and handle the situation till the ambulance help arrives, right? And this is our ultimate goal. We want to make sure there are enough volunteers in the platform, the ambulances, reach people on time, and we end up saving a lot more lives.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So thank you so much for joining, Dikshith. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah,
thank you.
Pleasure talking.
Thank you.